Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 New Orders America. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So just in a mere moment, 6 days, less than a week from now, Social Security should pass. I mean, we have, how many votes do we have at this point? 55, we have 60 votes. 60 out of 100, I mean, that should be a complete success. I think less Democrats support it now than they used to. I'm not too sure. I think maybe because we went for more support for the nationalist. The Democrats are like, maybe we don't want to support you as much. But no matter what, we have the votes. It should pass. RDC has run a resource campaign in the East Coast. What is the current projection actually looking like? A major loss, actually, for the NPP. 8 seats lost for the Nationalists, 1 seat lost for the Progressives. But the Republicans and Democrats are both going to go up. So we're actually going to tie. We're actually going to have a 50-50 split between the main blocks. The smaller parties, of course, are going to be slightly different. So we do want... Here's the thing. I don't want to have a minority government. Which is, I mean, I know that's not necessarily how it works in the U.S., but, you know, it's the idea of having, like, a... having minority. I want to... I at least want, like, 1 extra seat. Why can't we not take you? Oh, I think we need... Okay, we need to press this button first. The Social Security Act passes. A sweeping overhaul of the American welfare system has just passed Congress, and is now heading to the resolute desk for President Robert F. Kennedy to sign. The battle to pass the law has been a long and tough one, with opponents on all sides battling against the law as it was written. Republicans and Nationalist Caucus members complained about the cost and expansion of the welfare system, claiming that it add billions to the budget and reduce incentives for people to work if they can just live off the government. But there are some members of the Progressives, and even further to the left, that say the bill doesn't go far enough. There will be some, like the elderly and disabled, who will have to jump through hoops and may struggle to get aid that they need. So the restrictions should be even further loosened, and payments increased even more. But overall, it seems that most congressmen are willing to support the Social Security Act, which will expand the number of people that can receive it, cut the red tape that drains so much money from the system that is supposed to help people who have fallen on hard times, or those who are too old to work anymore, and not belittle and humiliate them. The SSA, first and foremost, is to be a safety net to catch those who fall through society's cracks, the poor, the homeless, the injured, and the elderly. In a statement released to the press after the announcement of the passing of the bill, President Kennedy said that he will begin signing the law tomorrow to make it into law, and thanked all of those who voted in favor of the act for their compassion, humanity, and care for the less fortunate in our nation that would otherwise cast aside or be ignored. Now, the nationalists, you all voted for it. Actually, almost all the nationalists voted for it. Not even all the progressives voted for it. So, okay. Replace moderate pension with generous pension. Policy cost per capita plus 35%. Poverty monthly gets reduced. Replace moderate subsidies with generous subsidies, which is going to cost more money. The administration efficiency will rapidly worsen. We'll replace a ray of hope with a dare to dream. More stability, more war support, political power gain. We'll have legal equality for women. Congratulations to them. GDP, our poverty rate will improve. GDP will increase by 0.3. Inflation will decrease by 0.1. We will spend $1.25 billion on the debt. I mean, it all seems really good. I will be damned. So that means it's now up to 6.2. Very, very, very happy to see it. And again, we only need 13 billion, not even actually like 12.2 billion to reach our GDP goal for the 72 election, which is very, very nice. And we have 535 political power. Let's immediately go for the healthcare system. We'll get that going. By the way, how is equal to every other, champion social justice, and a fervent union supporter? And right now, no Republicans, 11 Democrats, 33 progressives, and 5 nationalists. So that's going to give us up to 49. Well, we can easily... It only costs 10? Okay. We'll negotiate with the nationalist. Because how many days we have on this? We have about a month. We can definitely pass it. We have 530 political power. We have the resources necessary to get this done. And again, we can always press one of these buttons, which we haven't done yet. We'll talk to the nationalist. We'll see where that gets us. It should give us our 50 votes. Again, we only need 1. So I guess 2 to have a majority. So I would be very much willing to get more nationalists on side. I don't know what we need to maybe offer them to get them on side, but I'll probably just give it to them. And by the way, 550 political power, 200 command power. Like, when the next global conflict actually arises, We are going to be so ready for it. Like, it's going to be crazy how prepared the American government is for a new foreign adventure. Okay, Burgundy. So it looks like Himmler has secured his position in Burgundy. Not a big surprise. Disappointing for sure. Okay. It looks like we got a few senators on our side. I don't even know what the compromise is. Sure, accept the compromise. Gets up to 6. Which, I mean... 33, that's 44. I mean, it's... Okay, let's press one of these big buttons. Let's work with the Democrats. What does that do for us? Hey, okay, that actually just gives us a bunch of votes. Excellent. I mean, we had the political power for it. It's the first time we've ever pressed a button. And now, for sure, the Healthcare Act is going to pass. It's going to cost us more money, I'm sure. And our GDP surplus, it has gone down. You know, because we are spending a lot more money now on welfare. But, I mean, we're still having a surplus. We still got that surplus. We could do a tax hike as well. Interesting. I don't actually remember what the tax hike... You know what, dude? Let's do it. Why not? Surplus is now 21.44. Surplus can save our economy from expanding debts, but can harm our economic growth. Seems okay. I mean, it does mean our GDP's gone down a little bit. Because we have done the increased taxation, but... It is not a big deal to me. I'm sure it will, it'll all be resolved by year's end. And what do we want to do for foreign policy? Anything else we can do with you? I mean, we're almost out of money. So, I mean, we could try to invest even more into our spy agency. You know what? I don't think that's actually a bad idea. Let's double your budget to 20 million. Because this every month it goes up by 20. Okay. We can sabotage your supply. Yeah, do that. Sabotage your supplies. I don't know what that really does for us, but I mean, it seems good. Intel, our strength here is 3. HV is at 3. Does Japan not have a spy agency that can, you know, affect foreign affairs? Maybe they do, but it's not just to the same extent that Germany can. Because, let's see. Have you pushed in any territory? I mean, you have a little bit. But you're mostly on the back foot, which is a shame. Herbert Peter launched a leadership play for the Marxist caucus. The campaign trail of Herbert Peter has hit a major roadblock in the Marxist caucus. An uncertainty of the voter base towards leadership of the MPP. That is fine. Do I care at all about... Yeah, I don't care about the Marxist at all. A reality check. God, it's a struggle trying to sit through a policy platform this year. Your eyes glaze over after 10 minutes. H. Lad Plomy, head of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, minced no words as he settled into the passenger seat of his waiting car, which pulled away from the RDC headquarters with a genteel growl. His companion, Lee Oyaka, president of the Ford Motor Company, nodded wearily, his face glum. Besides bashing the Germans or the Japanese, there's nobody with any pizzazz in either the RDC or the MPP this year, Oyaka said, resting his head on his headrest. But neither of us gets it to sit this one out. If you ask me, Plummy replied as he lit a cigarette, we'll split our bets between George Romney and Phyllis Schlafly in the primaries. At least they can write a coherent sentence. And what will they care if we push their books in our recommended executive readings? You're joking, Oyaka laughed. Only for his eyes to widen as Plummy didn't join in. You're not joking? Schlafly? Really? The one who's been smearing the establishment, including you, me, and everyone else in corporate America, with as wide a brush as she can find for years? You were in that room with me earlier. How often do politicians say one thing in April and change their tune in December? Comes with every election season. Yeah, and that's usually because they don't stick to tune to begin with. Oyaka hissed. This woman's been saying the same thing for years. She's poison, Plummy. Romney's the only choice. We will see. I don't know who we're going to choose for the RDC primaries. I'm honestly not even too sure who we're going to go with for the for the MPP primaries. That is 9-day mode. Turn it off immediately. Paul Schwartz. So Germany has invaded Burgundy. Yes, please skip that song. Because, I mean, I'm guessing we'll probably go for another progressive for the NPP. It just makes sense. Like, the nationalists aren't that popular. Like, what do they have? They have 8% popularity versus the NPP has 41 for the progressives. Like, it's not even close. But Germany's invaded Burgundy. Is Burgundy going to nuke Germany? I mean, I think it's possible. Okay, foreign capital. Subsidizing our companies will have some effect in countering economic collapse, but for more lasting support, we should look to foreign capital. Neutral nation like in Europe, like Sweden. Okay. France requests support for Burgundian intervention. Department of State, urgent report for immediate delivery. Executive summary. The state controlled by Heinrich Himmler, officially referred to as the SS Orstand Burgund, is undergoing a civil war believed to be between the Himmler's SS, native SS legions, and the French resistance. This is already out of date. This is already actually finished. While the situation remains fluid, a CIA analysis indicates that Burgundy is limited to no control over its nuclear arsenal, and will be incapable of utilizing them in military intervention. While publicly aligned, Himmler quietly broke ties with Germany in the German Civil War, and considers the German Reich as insufficiently devoted to National Socialism, and has almost certainly conducted operations against them. Germany views Himmler as a traitor, and has similarly pursued measures to shorten the open conflict due to nuclear capabilities of Burgundy. In response to the ongoing conflict in Burgundy, German forces are mobilizing ground forces along the German-Burgundian border, indicating preparation for a direct military intervention, which has already happened. The French Republic has also begun positioning their forces on the French-Burgundian border, and have formally requested military assistance in retaking the territory illegally annexed by Burgundy, as well as supporting the Red Poppy resistance. Too late for that. This opportunity should not be understated. We have the ability not only to assist our ally in reclaiming their rightful land, but eliminate one of the most dangerous rogue states in the world, bringing an end to Heinrich Himmler and deny Germany an important victory. At the discretion of the president, we will commence an operation to end Burgundy once and for all. Okay. The United States intervenes in Burgundy. Does that mean I'm at war with them? This will be the first time we'll actually maybe be at war. Okay, okay. Move these troops here. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a long war, but I will definitely intervene. This, ladies and gentlemen, it took until episode 64. But we are officially at war. It happened. I guess we can do raise. We can do raise. We can do war taxes. We're not going to do it though. I don't think it's actually worthwhile. So blue army and purple army, you're going to move in immediately. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a long war. Let's just put it that way. We can capture Paris. An uninspired NPP. That's fine. Let's go for... What's the prediction right now? They're actually going to lose a lot of seats in the Rockies here. So let's campaign. I mean, this is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty nice for us. We're going to take North Paris in just a second. I don't know how it's going to swing between our two sides. I mean, because it's an aircraft as well. But honestly, I think there's more micro management than we actually need. Okay, RDC's done a respectable campaign. More people are joining in the war. And again, Burgundy, you're basically just already dead. We've lost 400 men. Burgundy is at 19%. They capitulate at 5. Let's see if we can take the capital before the Germans can get there. Unfortunately, the Germans got there first. Okay. The Burgundian standoff. While the armies of Heinrich Himmler and those of the SS Legion may crush under the combined might of Germany, United States, and France, the situation remains highly tense in Burgundy. While nominal control has been established over the former Ostend by the armies of both sides, both German and American armies remain on high alert for any sign of aggression from the other. Both Germany and the United States have publicly signaled rhetorical de-escalation, though observers have noted that both sides remain poised and entrenched along the established demarcation lines in preparation for an escalation. German and American diplomats have been seen moving to Burgundy, and both nations are engaging with each other on diplomatic levels. While all are hoping the situation will stabilize, tensions will continue to rise. Okay. Well, we've captured more territory. We're happy to see this. Have you guys here. You guys will be on this border. I think I've actually switched what side you're on, but that's fine. But hey, look at that. All of Paris now belongs to the French Republic. We've captured more territory. Very, very happy to see it. The expansion of the OFN continues. That was, what, like 3 days? Maybe, if even. Now, again, my goal is not to invade Germany. You know, like that's... I understand that's not going to happen. We'll push our way up to... Is it the Elbe River? I'm not too sure. I mean, we'll get our units in position. But I'm not preparing to go to war with Germany. We capture some land. We freed a bunch of Frenchmen from the horrors of Burgundy. Feeling pretty happy with that. Yeah, we can go for the 1970 research. We'll get that going. Research. Okay, no, that's already finished. Does that give us any points here for the Cold War? Panel Crisis, Battle for Italy. Not really. Which, I mean, I guess it's not a huge surprise. Are we going to get events about Burgundy? I'm not too sure. Okay, there is the Healthcare Act passed. And then we need to get all this stuff done. Again, I don't really care about supporting the OFN allies too much. The National Healthcare Act passes. They said it couldn't be done. It'll be too hard. It'll be too expensive. It violates our freedoms. It'll never pass Congress. I smashed my monitor. Well, it did. The National Healthcare Act, to be signed by President Robert F. Kennedy in the Grand Rose Garden ceremony, is now to be the law of the land. One of the biggest, most sweeping acts ever undertaken by the federal government, the United States healthcare system has been overhauled from the ground up. Every single American will soon experience the effects of the NHA for the undoubtedly and unequivocally better. It's a massive law, and it'll take a decade or more to fully realize its scope. In the next few months, every hospital in the nation will become the direct property of the state that it resides in. The federal government will pay the previous owners of 75% of the value of the land and buildings, while the state provides another 25%. Every doctor, nurse, pharmacist, dentist, specialist, technician, and janitor will be employed by each state's Department of Health. For the vast majority of life-saving and life-extending procedures, there will be no direct cost to the patient, instead being paid by the mandatory national insurance plan that will be paid by each state for the procedure. All private health insurance plans are to be subsidized by the national system. The NHA has mandated a minimum acceptable level of care for the nation as a whole, which will provide subsidies and payments to every state to ensure that they can match, or even exceed, the minimum standards. Despite the opposition from financial hawks, free market advocates, small government supporters, and the lobbyists of the health insurance and healthcare industries, support for the law is widespread across the nation. The harrowing stories of how some have been left destitute due to their medical bills, or how some were turned away from previous treatments due to unavailability, and the many allegations of fraud and malpractice shifted public support in favor of the NHA and pushed many reluctant senators to vote in favor. Now every American, no matter their race, their income, their location, or their health, can and will get the get the care they need. Add national healthcare system. Population goes up by 10%, stability goes up by 10%. GDP growth will increase by 0.1. We remove negotiated coverage, we add universal coverage. Everyone becomes more progressive. All Americans, regardless of age, gender, race, and class, will progressively gain the access to benefits of public health care. Stunning. And what does that translate to? A single vote for the progressives, at least right now. But hey, at least at the moment, we will have a 51 vote majority for the NPP. Okay. Germany requests negotiations in Burgundy. Department of State urgent report for immediate delivery. Following the establishment of a respective lines of control, we have received a request from the senior negotiator of the Ausschussamt, who is currently in Paris, requesting talks to facilitate a formal agreement to de-escalate and reduce tensions along the German-French border. Germany's seeming desire for de-escalation implies that they would be receptive to a permanent solution if one was offered. One which includes the recognition of the sovereign French lands in return for recognition of their claims derived from the borders of the Holy Roman Empire. Germany is likely to strongly oppose a shared border with an OFN member, even if they covered the former Burgundian territory that they controlled into a buffer state. They will almost certainly demand assurances from the OFN forces to not enter France, which they know we will not agree to. A proposed compromise is the total demilitarization of the French-Burgundian border. We have moderate confidence in this prediction because Germany is primarily driven by protecting their sovereign territory. And this removes the potential for OFN forces on the western frontier. France has indicated their acceptance of this compromise. The alternative is that we refuse the offer and maintain our forces along the shared border. It is unlikely that Germany will be willing to start a war due to this action, but the decision will significantly increase tensions and lead to accidents that could snowball out of control. Yes, we will open negotiations with the Germans. And we'll see kind of what we can get done here. Okay, foreign policy is available. Let's go for... what can we do in China? Yeah, sure. Why don't we fund Vladivostok resistance movements? Sounds good enough for me. And let's see. Total trade has gone down. Our largest trade partner actually now is Italy as opposed to the British. But our GDP is decreasing. You know, or no, not, our debt to GDP ratio is decreasing. GDP is going up. Inflation is going up a little bit as well, which is a bit of a shame. But at least right now it's still okay. The clock turned back. The situation was tense. Several dozen news outlets and journalists in ballistic vests and wearing helmets were milling about outside the buildings where the Germans and Americans were holding talks that could trigger a new war. Soldiers were numerous, even as the Americans and Germans stayed apart from each other, with the French acting as an unspoken mediating force. Talks have gone on for hours, and it was the last scheduled day. There's only so many ways it could end. They've have to hold another round of talks. They'd have to fuck. They'd say they had an agreement, or the talks would end altogether. Doors opened and the American-German diplomats walked out. Cameras flashed and every camera turned on them as the leading negotiators approached the podium that had been set up. The American negotiator spoke first. The United States has come to an agreement with the Greater German Reich. They have agreed to recognize return to the French lands. At this, the French media and the soldiers, with no shortage of Americans, cheered, with some of the soldiers hugging each other. The American diplomat allowed a small smile before continuing. The United States also recognized the German claims of the Burgundy lands that are previously the territory of the Holy Roman Empire. That news received less enthusiastically, but considering the alternative, people were happy enough with it. We have agreed that the borders between the French Republic and the German Reich will be fully demilitarized, the negotiator continued. In the coming hours, the United States will begin withdrawing forces, as will the German Reich. With that, he stepped back and let the German negotiator take the stand. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the worst-case scenario would not come to pass. Okay, the Paris Agreement. Many across the world breathed a sigh of relief as Germany and the United States announced that they would they reached an agreement regarding the territory of the former Odenstadt. Both sides have agreed to demilitarize the borders, withdraw their forces to the respective nations, and allow the French to establish control over their former lands. Observers have confirmed that the soldiers and military equipment are rapidly departing Burgundy, and humanitarian aid from the Organization of Free Nations is pouring in. That is good for us. Now, I do see these units are still in here. I think that... Okay, there we go. They've been kicked out. Did they go back to Washington? God damn it. Well, for now then, delete this plan, delete this plan. We'll just draw a fallback line. You know, something like this, and then you guys can have a fallback line around like so. I mean, they do need to all the way come back from Washington, but they will be here eventually. But I would say with that, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoyed, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribing? Goodbye.